The wind howls softly across the Heartland Ranch. The golden fields stretch under a fading sun, and the horses run free, wild, powerful, untamed. But this season, it's not just the horses learning to find their freedom. It's Amy. As the screen flickers through flashes of her past, laughter, loss, love, a quiet voice rises. Sometimes the hardest battles are not the ones we fight with others, but the ones inside ourselves. The music swells. A storm brews over the valley. A gate swings open. And with one deep breath, Amy steps forward, ready to risk everything. The screen fades in from black. The morning light breaks gently over the Heartland Ranch, painting the sky in soft gold. The ranch looks peaceful, too peaceful, like the quiet before thunder. The camera moves slowly across the stables, the fences, and the open fields, carrying the scent of hay, the whisper of wind, and the promise of change. A distant sound of hooves echoes. Amy walks into frame, her silhouette sharp against the sunrise. Her eyes carry a quiet strength, but also something deeper, something unsettled. She stands by Spartan, her loyal horse brushing his mane with careful hands. Every motion feels like memory, familiar, comforting, yet heavy with something unsaid. A voiceover begins, calm, steady, but filled with emotion. Life at Heartland has never been simple. Every sunrise brings new hope, and every sunset, new challenges. But this season, the line between both will blur. Cut to the ranch house. Jack sipping coffee on the porch, watching the horizon like a man who's seen too many storms come and go. His gaze lingers, knowing change is near. Tim walks past, checking the fences, his movements restless, impatient. Lou's car drives up. The door slams. Her expression says it all. Even before words are spoken, we can feel it. Something big is coming. The soundtrack shifts. Low piano, building tension. Amy looks up to the sky. Clouds gather, dark and fast. A storm is on the way, but she doesn't move. She stands still, grounded, ready. Her voice, soft but sure, echoes over the scene. If I've learned one thing, it's that sometimes standing your ground is the biggest risk of all. Thunder rolls in the distance. The horses grow restless. Jack's hat tips forward as he mutters to himself, "It's gonna be a long season." The shot widens, showing the ranch in full, alive, bracing, waiting. A quick montage flashes. Amy riding through the storm. Lou on a phone call with worry on her face. Tim slamming a gate, Jack holding a photo. Then, silence. Just the rain starting to fall. "And so it begins," the voiceover whispers. Text fades in. Heartland Season 19. Episode 1. Risk Everything. The rain has stopped. The ground glistens beneath a weak morning sun, and the ranch seems to hold its breath. Every drop on the fence post, every flicker of wind feels like a reminder. Peace never lasts long at Heartland. The sound of slow hoofbeats breaks the quiet. Amy walks Spartan through the field, her boots sinking into the damp earth. The camera follows her closely. Her eyes are calm, but her heart seems to be somewhere far away. A gentle voiceover begins. Sometimes it's not the storms outside that test us. It's the storms we carry within. Cut to Jack tightening a saddle. His rough hands steady, but his face clouded with concern. He looks up and calls out softly, "Amy, you sure you want to do this?" She pauses, then gives a small nod. No words, just a breath that says everything. Music builds. A soft guitar layered with piano. We see a close-up of Amy placing her hand on Spartan's neck. "There's a horse no one could reach," the narrator continues, "and a woman who refuses to give up trying." A quick flashback montage. Amy smiling with her daughter. Jack's laughter at the dinner table. Ty's memory in a quiet photograph. These moments are warm, glowing, the heart of Heartland. But then, the tone shifts. A wild horse bucking in panic, Amy falling hard to the ground, Jack shouting her name. The screen cuts to black for a second, then, a whisper. "To heal others, sometimes you have to risk breaking yourself." Lou appears next. Walking into her office, clutching papers tight. Her world is no calmer. The mayoral pressure, the expectations, the feeling that every choice she makes affects more than just her. She stares out the window, the ranch visible in the distance. The weight of family and leadership sits heavy on her shoulders. Meanwhile, Tim is seen at the rodeo grounds, staring at an empty arena. His past echoes around him. Mistakes, second chances, the feeling that time is running out to fix what he's broken. He mutters, "Maybe this time I can get it right." As the voiceover continues, we drift between faces, each one hiding a story. Amy, determined but uncertain. Jack, wise but weary. Lou, strong but conflicted. Tim, proud but haunted. The narrator speaks again, this time softer, closer, almost like a secret shared with the audience. This season, every choice will carry a cost. Every heart will face a test, and every soul at Heartland will learn what it truly means to risk everything. The camera pans up, the Heartland Ranch glowing beneath the sunrise. A flock of birds takes flight, cutting across the sky as if mirroring the family's journey. Beautiful, fragile, and free. The music swells, rising with emotion, not loud but powerful, like the beginning of something that will change everything. The scene fades to black. White text appears slowly. Heartland Season 19, Episode 1. Risk everything. Then, underneath, every choice has a price. The sound of wind brushing through tall grass fades in. The camera glides over the open fields. The same land that has carried generations of laughter, tears, and lessons learned the hard way. Heartland has always been a place of healing, but now, it feels like a test. Amy rides Spartan across the fields faster than she should. Her hair whips behind her, her eyes fixed on something ahead. Not the horizon, but a shadow of her own doubt. The world around her blurs. Her breathing quickens. In that moment, it's not just a ride. It's a battle between courage and fear. The voiceover begins, steady, emotional, cinematic. Some risks are taken on impulse. Others come from the heart. But the hardest ones are the ones that find you before you're ready. Cut to the barn, a young horse thrashing against the gate, wild and frightened. Amy approaches slowly, her hands trembling slightly. The horse's eyes mirror her own, afraid, uncertain, scarred. She whispers softly, "It's okay. I know what it's like to be scared." The music drops, letting silence fill the space. You can almost feel her heartbeat through the screen. Jack watches from a distance, his expression torn between pride and worry. He murmurs to himself, "She's just like her mother. Can't turn away from a lost cause." His voice fades into the wind as we cut to a close-up of Amy's hand reaching out. The moment just before trust, the edge of risk. A new shot. Lou standing by the kitchen window looking out as rain begins to fall again. Her phone buzzes. Another message, another problem. She turns it over, ignores it, and stares at the ranch. "What if we lose everything trying to fix it all?" she whispers. The narrator returns. "At Heartland, every risk comes with a cost. And sometimes the cost isn't money or fame. It's the people you love." We see Tim standing under the rodeo lights at night. His face is lined with regret. A figure approaches. An old rival, maybe a reminder of who he used to be. Their words are short, sharp, cutting. "You can't run from your past forever," the man says. Tim's reply is quiet. "I'm not running. I'm fighting." The scene transitions. The music shifts to a slower, emotional rhythm. Amy's voice echoes in the background. "When you risk everything for what you love, you don't always win, but you have to try." A quick montage follows. Amy guiding the wild horse through the rain, Lou clutching her campaign notes, Jack placing a hand on an old photo, Tim staring at the open road. The camera zooms out. The storm clouds break, light streams through, and for a brief second, everything is still. The family stands on the ranch porch together, distant, divided, yet somehow united by the same heartbeat. The voiceover closes softly. The heart of Heartland has always been about hope. But this time, hope means taking the risk of losing everything. The screen fades to black. The text fades in slowly, glowing like embers. The evening settles over Heartland like a blanket of quiet gold. The storm has passed, but the air still feels heavy. Not with rain this time, but with unspoken things. Every corner of the ranch carries a story. Every face hides a battle. And sometimes, the hardest part of living here isn't the work or the weather. It's the weight of what's left unsaid. The screen opens on Lou, standing alone on the porch, her phone glowing in her hand. She scrolls through a message, stops halfway, and locks the screen. The look on her face says everything. A choice she doesn't want to make. A truth she's not ready to face. The wind moves through her hair as she whispers, "You can't lead everyone. Not when you can't even lead your own heart." Cut to Jack, sitting in his old armchair near the barn. The lamp beside him flickers softly, throwing shadows across the walls filled with family photos. He's reading an old letter, something written years ago, the edges worn from time. His voice, low and rough, breaks the silence. "You think you've seen it all, until life finds a new way to test you." He folds the letter and looks out the window. In the distance, Amy is working late in the pen, her determination reminding him of someone he lost long ago. His eyes soften. She's got her mother's fire and her father's stubbornness. The sound of a truck engine cuts through the quiet. Tim steps out, the headlights fading behind him. He takes off his hat, wipes his brow, and stares at the old rodeo jacket hanging inside his truck. His past feels closer than ever. He mutters, "You spend half your life chasing dreams, and the other half paying for them." Inside the house, Lisa sits at the kitchen table, flipping through bills and schedules, trying to keep the family steady while everyone else seems to be drifting apart. She sighs deeply, whispering to herself, "If love alone could fix this place, we'd never fall apart." The camera moves between them all. Lou's silent decisions, Jack's quiet wisdom, Tim's haunted pride, and Lisa's quiet strength, weaving them together like pieces of the same broken puzzle. The narrator's voice fades in, calm but full of meaning. At Heartland, every soul carries a secret. Every heart has a scar, and every second chance comes at the cost of the first one you lost. A soft piano melody plays as the montage continues. Lou closing her office blinds as rain begins to fall again. Jack walking the fence line in the dark, lantern in hand. Tim saddling up his horse under the moonlight. Amy watching from her window, the ranch lights flickering below like a heartbeat. Then, a knock at the door. Lou opens it, surprised. A new face stands there, someone unexpected, carrying a look that says they've been through their own storms. The music drops low, leaving only the sound of rain and breath. The narrator speaks once more. New faces will test old loyalties. Forgotten promises will find their way back home. And in the end, everyone must decide what's worth holding on to, and what's worth letting go. The screen fades slowly to black as thunder rumbles again in the distance. The words appear in white. Every shadow hides a second chance. Night has fallen over Heartland, but it's not the kind of night that brings rest. The sky is bruised purple, heavy with clouds that refuse to let the stars through. The air hums with quiet tension, like the moment before glass shatters. Inside and outside, hearts are beginning to break. The sound of thunder rolls again, faint but threatening. Amy stands in the training pen, rain dripping down her hair. The wild horse stands across from her, eyes wide, breathing fast, every muscle ready to bolt. For a moment they stare at each other, two creatures trapped between fear and courage. The camera moves in slowly and her whisper barely cuts through the wind. "You're not the only one who's scared." The horse stomps, rears, then freezes, watching her instead of running. The storm breaks open above them, rain pouring in heavy sheets. Amy doesn't move. She reaches out again, trembling but steady. The horse inches closer, lightning flashes, and for a heartbeat, everything stops. The moment feels like a mirror. Amy's pain, her strength, her loss, all reflected in the animal before her. Cut to Jack, watching from the barn doorway. His hat brim hides his face, but we can hear his breath. slow, deep, proud, and afraid all at once. Behind him, Lisa places a gentle hand on his shoulder. She doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. Inside the house, Lou sits alone at the table, papers scattered, her reflection flickering in the dark window. She picks up her phone, hesitates, then dials. Her voice is small but firm. "Dad, I can't fix this alone." On the other end, Tim's voice cracks just slightly. "Then don't. No one ever said you had to." The scene shifts to Tim standing under the rain near the old barn, phone still pressed to his ear, his hand trembling. For the first time in a long time, he looks tired. Not from work, not from age, but from regret. His whisper carries through the storm. "I've lost too much already." Not this time. The music swells, deep strings and soft piano building together. The montage moves fast. Amy leading the horse into the pen, soaked but smiling through tears. Lou hugging Jack in the kitchen, her eyes red but alive. Tim throwing his old rodeo jacket into the fire, the flames lighting his face. Jack turning the porch light back on. A small act, but full of meaning. The rain slows. The sky begins to clear. The ranch breathes again. For a moment, you can almost feel the land exhale. The voiceover returns, gentle but raw. Sometimes breaking isn't the end. It's how you make space for the pieces that matter most. Amy stands in the pen, Spartan beside her. The wild horse calm at last. Her voice carries softly over the scene. You can't heal what you're afraid to touch. You just have to try. A soft breeze moves across the fields. The storm has passed. The ground sparkles with raindrops and morning light. As the music fades, the narrator speaks one final time for this section. At Heartland, every fall, every loss, every storm leads to one truth. You can't protect your heart by hiding it. You have to risk it. The screen fades to black. Text appears slowly, glowing like dawn breaking through clouds. When everything breaks, the heart learns how to heal. The morning after the storm feels like a breath the land has been holding for too long. The sky is clean, painted in soft blues and golds. The camera drifts over the Heartland Ranch. Fences glistening with dew, horses grazing quietly. The ground still dark with last night's rain. It's peaceful again, but different. The kind of peace that comes only after something has been broken and rebuilt. Amy walks slowly toward the barn, boots crunching on wet gravel. The wild horse stands calmly inside, no longer afraid. She pauses at the gate, watching it, her face lit with quiet wonder. The voiceover begins, soft, low, and filled with reflection. Sometimes the hardest thing isn't risking everything. It's believing that what's left can still be enough. Inside, she brushes Spartan's mane, the sound of her hand moving through his coat gentle and steady. Jack appears behind her, resting a hand on the stall door. He smiles, the kind of smile that comes from understanding, not words. "You did good, Amy," he says softly. She nods, eyes glistening, replying, "We both did." The music begins to swell. Slow piano mixed with strings, warm and cinematic. Lou joins them in the barn doorway, her expression lighter now. "The town's asking when we're coming back," she says with a half smile. Jack chuckles. "We never left. Just needed to find our way home again." The scene shifts, Tim walking across the field, the rising sun behind him. His shadow stretches long, but his stride is steady. The past hasn't disappeared, but it doesn't hold him anymore. He looks toward the ranch house, and for the first time, he doesn't look away. The narrator's voice drifts over the sunrise. Home isn't just a place, it's a promise that no matter how far you fall, love will find a way to bring you back. Cut to Amy leading the wild horse out of the pen. It follows her without hesitation. The camera pans up as they walk toward the open fields, the light breaking over them in golden waves. A soft breath of wind carries through the grass. The camera widens, the full ranch in view. "This is Heartland," the voice continues, "where every risk, every tear, every choice leads back to one thing, hope." The screen fades to black. The music quiets to a single note that lingers, like the echo of a heartbeat. Then white text fades in, Heartland Season 19. Episode 1. Risk Everything, coming soon. Only on CBC and CBC Gamer. Gentle instrumental reprise plays. Nostalgic, emotional, filled with warmth and closure. As the final moments roll, the narrator's last words carry softly, almost like a memory. Because in the end, risking everything is the only way to truly come home. Fade out. Heartland logo appears. Subtle text overlay. Subscribe for more Heartland previews and stories from the ranch. Music fades completely, leaving only the sound of distant horses and wind. The screen opens with the golden light of dawn spilling over the Heartland Valley. The storm has passed. The fields shimmer with life again, and the sound of horses running free fills the air. Steady, rhythmic, timeless. The camera follows them as they gallop across the open plains, kicking up dust that glows in the morning sun. The narrator's voice returns, softer than before, calm, reflective, full of warmth. Heartland has always been more than a ranch. It's a heartbeat. One that keeps going, no matter the storms, no matter the years. We see flashes of moments that feel like memories. Amy laughing with Jack at the barn door. Lou holding a steaming cup of coffee staring at the sunrise. Tim fixing a fence with quiet determination. Lisa brushing a horse, humming softly under her breath. Each scene fades into the next, like pages turning in a family album. The camera lingers on Amy one last time. Her face peaceful, her eyes full of gratitude and fire. The wild horse grazes nearby, free but still close. Spartan stands beside her, loyal as ever. She whispers under her breath, "We made it." The music swells gently. The same melody from the beginning, now slower, richer, layered with strings and soft piano. It feels like the end of a journey, but also the beginning of something new. The voiceover continues, every word like a heartbeat. Every season brings change. Every story brings loss and love. But here, on this land, one thing never fades: the courage to keep trying. Cut to wide shots. The ranch from above glowing under the morning light. The horses running in perfect rhythm. The family gathered near the porch, laughing, talking, living.